Please join me in welcoming Matthew Hebenstreit and Heather Middleton for a special introduction.
Good afternoon. I've had the privilege to work closely with Marissa on several occasions through our FFA chapter and in my classroom. I have been impressed with her professionalism, leadership skills, and enthusiasm every time. Marissa has shown responsibility, sportsmanship, and dedication through all of her endeavors. The ability to follow through on a commitment is something that Marissa has mastered early and will prove vital as she progresses through her life. Marissa has shown herself to be a gracious winner. Even better when someone else takes the top prize. There are always genuine congratulations at the end of the day. Marissa is always willing to share her knowledge to help someone else, even if they are her competitor. Marissa exhibits the 6 pillars of character that we set our Cassidy FFA standards by: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, sportsmanship, and dedication. Through all of her many endeavors, this has shown through. The ability to follow through on a commitment is something that Marissa has mastered and will prove vital as she progresses through her life. Marissa has developed a positive attitude towards self, the pursuit of personal potential that she exhibits every day. Marissa, it has been a pleasure watching you grow into the fine young woman you are. I am proud of your accomplishments, and I'm excited to watch the next chapters unfold in your life. It is my honor to introduce your state reporter, Marissa Petiprin Ball.
Patricia is an amazing young woman with an incredibly strong work ethic. She seems to find time for everything that is important to her. She manages to help at home with our animals on our farm. She does fair projects, including steers, dairy starters, and pigs. She is a Division I athlete at MSU, and her bowling, and a straight-A student also at MSU. The assistant coach of the Olivet bowling team, the girls, where she has led them to their first ever in the history state tournament for the first time. She is a substitute teacher and is proficient in sign language, and an amazing daughter for her mother and I, and we are very proud of her. It is my honor to introduce your Region 6 State Vice President, Patricia Hebenstreit.
We are kind of like turtles. We live inside a shell. It serves as an armor protecting us from the outside world. Many of us have heard of something called the comfort zone, an area of complete comfort we choose not to break out of because it feels safe to be there. But it's not until a turtle has learned to expand their shell can they truly begin to grow through exploring the unknown world around them, the world that seemed so scary and uncomfortable before.
It was a normal Tuesday with the same hustle and bustle as always. A test and trig, a chapter FFA officer meeting after school, and the usual homework. I was walking into the lunchroom along with 200 of my classmates carrying my lunch pail of my typical midday meal of a salad, fruit snacks, and Belvita bar. As I found my besties, I sat down with a sigh. It was the same old, talking about the latest tea, who was dating who, and what we were gonna do that weekend. Until the worst possible thing happened, or at least to me at the time. You see, while in conversation, I began to open my lunch pail to find that I had forgotten the ranch at home for my classic salad. But that was no worry. I could just walk to the condiment stand in the middle of the cafeteria and obtain the necessary dressing. As I wove through the tables of chatting high schoolers, my mind drifted off to my trig tests later that afternoon. Then, all of a sudden, ow! Before I had realized what was going on, the sound of metal hitting the floor brought the realization to my head. I had walked right into the condiment stand. In those split moments of hearing that metal hit the floor, a million thoughts ran through my head. Run away before anyone notices me. Go, pick it up. Why is everyone looking at me? The entire cafeteria grew extremely quiet. Everyone stared at me for what felt like an eternity. But then, an eruption of cheers and clapping broke the tension. It had to be one of the most uncomfortable moments of my life. It was so full of embarrassment and fear. But these moments happen to each of us. So maybe instead of fearing them, we should consider taking them head on. For myself, I had two choices. One, I could walk back to my table with a fear of looking stupid. Or two, I could be bold and own my moment. Sophomore Marissa took a hold of her moment and bowed at her unexpected standing ovation. Sure, my anxiety was through the roof, but once everyone started to cheer and clap louder, I realized that owning your moment doesn't have to be awkward or feared. Looking back on it, that day opened up a number of doors for me. I realized that taking a hold of the moments that might be uncomfortable or feared and making them our own gives us the confidence to take control of situations and ourselves. So maybe the next time there's that awkward silence or you say the oh so famous, you too. Be open to the possibility of being bold and embracing your true self.
The fight or flight response is a natural response that has been ingrained in us since the beginning of time, used to help us in survival situations. Since the creation of modern-day technology, humans don't have to engage in this response as often as they would have years and years ago. Still, to this day, the response remains within each one of us and becomes apparent when we are placed into uncomfortable situations. Embracing these uncomfortable moments, harnessing the power of the situation, allows us to enter a period of growth. Regardless of the situation that you were placed into or the severity of the discomfort, these situations are inevitable and are bound to happen to us. So instead of running away from these uncomfortable moments, let's embrace them and face them head on.
Whether it's pulling a door that says push, messing up a speech, or my personal favorite, messing up someone's name 5 seconds after they introduce themselves, let's be honest. Enduring an uncomfortable situation can leave us feeling flushed and anxious. It's common for our stress and anxiety to rise in these situations, but what if embracing these feelings could help us in the long run? Science tells us that when enduring uncomfortable situations, our stress and anxiety could be used to reach our optimal performance. When reaching our optimal performance, our body uses two chemicals, adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline is the hormone that elevates your blood pressure, gets your heart pumping, and gives you the energy you need to tackle a task in front of you. So when you think of adrenaline, think of a steer rushing about the barn just after it's been spooked. Cortisol is our hormone that shuts down our functions that are unhelpful to our fight or flight responses. So in other words, it helps you focus on what's really important. So when you think of cortisol, think of your FFA advisor really focused on you reciting your speech word for word. Combining these two hormones can be a game changer in our uncomfortable moments. Take my friend Fran, for example. She had just got a job at Starbucks here on MSU's campus. Little did she know she was in for a ride when having to make caffeinated drinks for caffeine-hungry college students. On her first day, fresh from training, she had been put on register with a line that extended outside of the cafe and to the end of the hall. Fran could have easily shut down being put in this uncomfortable situation, with customers having to line up waiting for her. But instead, she embraced it. She took a deep breath, gave herself a moment to compose herself, and open up her mind to the idea of the situation ahead of her. Allowing herself to do this, Fran reached her own optimal performance. She was able to use her stress and anxiety to sharpen her skills in the moment. Though Fran used techniques that work for her, this could be different for everybody though, because not every situation we endure is the same. But I challenge you, find what works for yourself in these moments. Ask a friend what they do, or even Google techniques that could help you. Whatever it is that helps you to embrace your natural confidence and natural instincts could be used for years to come.
Uncomfortable situations are bound to happen to us. In our lives, we are faced with things that challenge who we are and what we stand for. And it's up to us to determine what we do with the cards that we were dealt. Upon my acceptance to Michigan State University, I thought about the things I wanted to accomplish and the things I wanted to try. Anyone who knows MSU knows the top 2 items have to be 1, eat at Brody Hall, and 2, try every available flavor of ice cream at the dairy store. But the most important goal I had set for myself was the focus on living in the moment. With this goal in mind, I created a plan of action. To obtain this goal, I wrote, try for state office again, join 1 agricultural club, and make the bowling team. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm an avid bowler, and because of my love for the sport, I decided to try out for the team. I remember the day of tryouts. I pulled into the driveway of the bowling alley, parked, and took a deep breath in my car before entering the building. I was stepping out of my comfort zone. Butterflies in my stomach were no longer fluttering. Instead, they were whipping around like a whirlwind inside of me. I was nervous, to say the least. Still, I unpacked my equipment, slipped on my shoes, stepped onto the approach, and bowled. What happened between the beginning of tryouts and the end was a blur. The butterflies had left, and everything seemed to happen at once. However, at the end of tryouts, desperately waiting to hear who had made the team, I nearly barfed. The butterflies were back. And while waiting for the results on who had made the team may have only lasted 2 minutes, it felt like hours. I packed up and headed to my car. As soon as I sat down in the driver's seat, my cell phone rang. It was my best friend, Colin. I answer. So, he asked, desperately waiting to hear how I had done. Well, I made the team. And while bowling wasn't a completely new experience for me, bowling at the collegiate level certainly is a learning curve. The experience taught me that stepping out of my comfort zone is important for personal growth, as I was able to prove to myself more than capable of achieving my goals than I had ever thought possible, giving me the confidence to be who I am in the tasks that I do. Take the opportunity to step into an unfamiliar situation, because there is value in the growth that we will see within ourselves by simply choosing to get uncomfortable.
Often, stepping out of our comfort zones can be scary. While trying something new can feel awkward, there are many benefits like improving your mental health, confidence, and stress levels. When you try something new, you could become more capable of achieving your goals set for yourself and achieving uncertainties head on. Having a positive mindset allows us to face these uncertainties head on. To allow personal growth within ourselves, we need to seek out opportunities to escape our comfort zones.
Daily, we encounter decisions that we have to make. Regardless of the intensity of the decision, there will always be a missed opportunity because of our choice. When given the opportunity to grow within an extracurricular, often we're eager to jump at this chance. But when given the opportunity to grow within ourselves, we hesitate. To avoid this hesitation, we need to start by taking the small steps, because starting too big will be discouraging. When we take the small steps, we can start by switching up our daily routine. For example, if we do something in the morning, try doing it at night, or vice versa. Maybe you floss at night. Try flossing in the morning. And if you don't floss, well, I encourage you to try flossing. Once we take these small steps, then we can take our next step. By taking a new route to work or school, raising our hand in class when we may not know the answer, even smiling at people in the hall we may not talk to. Or, to really spice things up, we can go somewhere we normally don't go, or wear that outfit we're not fully convinced about wearing. No matter what you choose, I challenge you to step out of your comfort zone and change it up a bit. Life isn't boring, and neither are you. As you continue to take these small steps, you'll be apt to step out of your comfort zone even farther, like getting involved in a club, sport, or even volunteering for something new. As you continue to prove your worth to yourself, you'll become more resilient when unexpected changes happen in your life. So the next time you're given the opportunity to step into an unfamiliar situation, will you take it like a leadership role in an extracurricular and eagerly chase it? Or will you hold yourself back?
Growing with our shells can be scary, but knowing how our bodies and mind use natural ways to help us manage our stress can be a very powerful tool. Once we do this, we can only grow up from there. Unlike snails, turtles don't find new shells. They grow along with them. Just as turtles grow with their shells, we too can grow. So when given the chance to grow with your shell, will you simply stick your head out, or will you reach for the goals you set for yourself? Starting with the small tasks and progressively moving towards the more uncomfortable ones allows us to grow with our shells. Michigan FFA, face new uncertainties head on, let your adrenaline and cortisol take control, and get uncomfortable.
Like when I close my eyes, don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can't fly, and I don't even think touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane.
Marissa, where do I even start? From making coffee runs to Big B's, to the endless laughs we have in our car rides. And being a friend, I could depend on when I needed someone the most. Your selflessness, dedication, and humility on our team has not gone unnoticed. And I am so grateful to have grown so close to you this year. Michigan FFA, our state reporter, Marissa Petiprin Ball.
Like when I close my eyes, don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can't fly.
Patricia,
Throughout your year of service, your passions for the agricultural industry have shown through to both the members and our team. You are one of the most down-to-earth, caring individuals I know, and your ability to keep our team on track was definitely needed this year. Thank you for being a friend, even though I will always be a far worse bowler than you. Michigan FFA, our Region 6 State Vice President, Patricia Hebenstreit.